Have you ever been rejected? Have you been kicked out of the club? Have you been fired? Have you been ostracized? I have. And I brought some of it on myself. I refused to join the Good Old Boy Network. I didn't go play golf with the guys. I wasn't a hunter, so I didn't do the hunting stuff, and I didn't do all the stuff with the clubs that I was invited into when I was around all of those top 1%ers. Some people may say that I was being self-defeating and not doing that, and they may be right. But let me tell you, I've always followed this inner calling. Whenever Jimmy Johnson called me to offer me a scholarship when I was 17 years old to play college football, I was very hopeful. I was very kind of in awe because I knew that he was an up-and-coming coach. I had no idea that he'd end up winning national championships and Super Bowls, but he was a big advocate for me in my in my teenage years. But when he offered me a car, man, I exploded. And there was something in me that just could not accept that aspect of, and it wasn't anything to do with Jimmy. I think they were all doing it, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't sell out. There was some values that I had, and the truth may be that I really didn't want to play college football anyway. That my rage that I was letting out on the football field really need to be dealt with another way. My point here is that what was it? let me go back and see. Some of us go through life. Some of us have carried this vibe going out into the world that I'm not afraid of anyone. And that may invite these situations to give you a chance Look, I've been rejected. I've been fired at least twice from super high level jobs and companies that I've actually even started. And every week I audition and don't get the role. I get one every once in a while. And so I've learned to deal with rejection. And, to be honest, I do wonder sometimes if I'm not choosing what I do to feel rejection and to be ostracized and to be isolated, and perhaps I'm even pursuing the wrong thing. And I make these videos and sometimes I only get 5 or 10 views. Nonetheless, I feel like I have something to say, and if it touches one person, then great. And sometimes I even get feedback from that one person that was touched. And sometimes I stumble across some stuff and I get more. But the fact is that, I've not tried to be part of a good old boy network. And sometimes it comes off as a negative feeling. I have nothing against playing golf or, I'm not really a hunter and don't really condone that or understand that. But, I do miss the basketball and that being connected with others. And I've just not found that in business or in life generally outside of the court. So, but not being part of the good old boy network is potentially a hazard, because that's where a lot of our survival is and safety mechanisms in our community is really served up. So be careful when you deal with others, and be respectful. because your survival, especially as you're healing and recovering from complex PTSD or recovering from whatever substitute you may be putting into your life, rather than feeling something maybe that you missed as a infant or in your early childhood. You need that support. You need that feeling of safety, and ultimately, you can find it through spiritual means, but often we fight against the wrong things. And it's not the good old boy network that is necessarily trying to work against you, but we can certainly make those groups into demonic forces or groups that act counter to our will, not necessarily because of who they are, just because we fail to recognize a lot of them are set up to function in the world, in the material world, and they're not deeply spiritually connected groups of individuals, or with even an ideology that may be deeply connected to the truths that you need to heal from complex PTSD. I'm Mark Roach, wishing you all the best.